Hey guys, I just want to introduce you to my mini series of makeup for the brown girl. Basically, all it is I'm breaking down makeup for women of color, be it Middle Eastern, Latina, African American. I just want there to be a go-to channel for people of color because while I see wonderful tutorials online, I don't see as many for our skin. And yes, there are specific issues um, and that are typical for women of color. So I'm going to use the word African American and women of color interchangeably. I do want people to know that if you are not of color, it is perfectly fine for you to watch and learn because there is still a message to be heard here. And I want to thank everybody for watching my video. This first video will be about skincare in general, and because I feel as though it is very important to understand what type of skin you have prior to going to the nearest Macy's counter and purchasing loads of makeup, because what works for Sarah may not work for Mary. In other words, it might work for me and it may not work for you. There are generalizations that I can make, but I can't specifically give each and every one of you a recommendation. I can only tell you about generally how our skin reacts and what are our problems and things of that nature. So let's get started. There are five common issues amongst African American skin. The first one is acne. We all get it. We all know what it is. We all get a pimple. Doesn't matter if you're purple, you're going to get a pimple at some point in your life. Some people get it later on in life and they don't understand. And some people get it while they were young and they were embarrassed. But the best way to deal with that is to develop a relationship with a dermatologist, because it could be hormonal, it could be topical, it could be so many different issues. So I want people to understand, especially women of color, that if you do have acne, be very careful what you put on your face. Just because it says for sensitive skin doesn't mean that it's going to work. The only reason why I say that is because it may not be the product, it could be the user. Okay, let's be clear on that. So, for instance, I could use Dove, which is very gentle on the skin, but if I'm scrubbing my skin really hard, I'm going to inflame my skin. And when I wake up tomorrow or even in an hour, I'm going to see my skin is going to be worse. So the key word is gentle product, okay? But gentle usage. Be gentle with your skin. Do not scrub your skin. You never, especially your face. You never need to scrub your face. When you exfoliate, the bees that are in the micro bees that are in the exfoliator is all the scrubbing that you need. You don't have to be very rough with it. You can be gentle and use circular motions and be very, very, very gentle and sweet to your skin, because it will react like this, especially if you're acne prone. So a lot of people always say, I'm using all these products and they're not working. It's usually because you're literally physically trying to get rid of that acne. Let the product do its job. It's strong enough and it will work over time. People say don't drink soda, don't eat chocolate, don't do this, don't do that, and everybody has reactions differently. For me in particular, I don't get pimples if I drink soda or eat chocolate, but hair products will break me out. I'll get little pimples here. I have acne here right now. So I'm very careful with not using very oily products on my hair. So you need to find out what's triggering it and then treat it as such. Moving right along, the second biggest or common issue with women of color is ingrown hairs. Ingrown hairs are simply put, hair bumps. People call them different things, but basically you'll see it on men, especially when they get like their face shaved, or the back of their heads. You'll see bumps all over. That's because of the type of hair that we have generally is shaped kind of like a C at the base. So when you shave or you're doing something, the hair will curl right back into the skin. That the leftover or remaining hair could be microscopic, but it'll go right back into the skin, therefore breaking through the hair follicles walls, creating that bump that you see. So there's a lot of things you can do to get that out. You can put a warm compress on your face or wherever the ingrown, it could be under your arm, and that will soften the skin and you'll be able to get the hair out. um, from what I understand, they don't recommend that you tweeze it out, but you take a needle and just let it sit there. You'd have to do research for that. I'm no dermatologist. I don't want to give the incorrect advice. But the way to avoid it is to exfoliate your skin prior to shaving, especially for here for us women when we're shaving in our other regions to, to decrease the hair, whether it's our armpits or somewhere bikini area, whatever. You want to exfoliate. I use Burt's Bees sugar scrub. You can get that from Target, and you put that on before you shave, and guess what? You will not only have softer skin, but you will help decrease the darkness that tends to happen in your armpits and in your bikini area. And the reason why you get that darkness is because when you're shaving, you're leaving little hair follicles open. You're leaving that the hair to actually, there's actually hairs there that are left over, dead hair that are just laying dormant. So they kind of hide right underneath the skin, and the skin creates like a protective layer over it. So the best way to get rid of that, exfoliate. I can promise you, if you exfoliate every time you shave, do it for your legs too. You will see a decrease in the darkness around that area. I promise. I promise you that. I've done it myself, and I don't have very light skin, but I do have orange undertones. So a lot of those things will show up faster on my skin than on somebody else's skin. So be very cognizant of those types of things. Exfoliate. Be gentle. Speaking of dark areas, that is probably another big issue, commonality amongst women of color. Coloration issues, discoloration issues for in that case. Most women I know, and including myself, have a darker halo sort of around the face. Sometimes it even comes into this area, and then down here it's darker, and down up here it's darker, and then here it's like this T pretty much of lightness. Or maybe it stops here for you. But that's me. I'm light here, dark here, and red here. It's very strange, but it's very normal. There are topical medications that you can use. Um, you could go to a store and get, skin lightening products if it's that serious. Like there are people who have stark contrast between the inside and the outside of their face, and that can lead to issues with makeup because a lot of women don't know how to address that issue. And they don't know, well, am I supposed to wear foundation? Do I wear this type or this type? The answer is yes and no. It depends on your question and depends on your skin. So a lot of the times you have to be very aware of the type of skin you have and address it as such. When I do the foundation part of this mini series, I will talk about addressing that type of issue with the discoloration. Okay. Um, the number four thing is vitiligo. I'm not a dermatologist again, so I don't want to get into that too much, but there are cortisone like treatments for that type of skin discoloration issue. And then the number five thing is keloids. Basically, what a keloid is, everybody's pretty much heard of it. It's just like a raised scar. So let's say I cut myself here, and instead of it going into the skin, the scar, it comes out of the skin. So you have like a skin outside, I mean, a scar outside of the skin. That's pretty much what a keloid is. Um, it's basically you usually see it right after surgery, like people who get surgery or people who get into car accidents and glass gets in their skin. That's usually where you see that. So there's laser, you can get more surgery. There's no guarantee that it's going to go away. If your skin is more keloid prone, it's just best to let them, you know stay where they lay, in other words. Um there are natural ways. If you don't have insurance or you don't have an access to a dermatologist, or you're just afraid of doctors, there are natural ways to help some of these issues. Like for instance, with the darkness, like some people have dark eye, under their eyes, darkness under their eyes, the circles. Vitamin K. You can go right to your local drugstore, Target, Walmart, whatever, get some vitamin K. Um, a lot of the skin products have vitamin K in it, and that makes it a lot easier for you to use that without going to get a prescription. Obviously, if you go to a dermatologist, the prescription will be stronger, but if you have patience and you stay consistent, you will see changes in your skin. And before I go, the last thing I want to talk about really quickly is moisturizing. Moisturizing is huge. I'll touch on it a little bit when I talk about foundation, but I don't care if you have oily skin, in between skin, or if you have dry skin. Moisturizer is essential before putting on makeup, and also essential to keeping your skin intact. Most people say go for a moisturizer with SPF. I agree. The only and this is for people of color. People we tend to think that because we're brown we don't need sunblock, and we absolutely do need sunblock. We need it just as much as anybody else. There are lots of moisturizers out there with the SPF in it. I do recommend having it. I don't necessarily recommend using it all the time because they are thicker, and for people who have oily skin, it could break them out a little bit more because it does just kind of coat the skin. But it is moisturizers in general are just great for barriers between your skin and a foundation. And for those people who say, well, I use MAC and MAC breaks me out, or I use Bobbi Brown and she breaks me out, and I can't stand using makeup because it breaks me out. It's usually not the makeup breaking you out, it's your skincare regimen, and also not knowing what product works for your skin. So, and also lack of moisturizer, because or a primer, because the moisturizer serves as a barrier, and it will help protect your skin from all of the oils and stuff in the foundations and concealers and whatnot. So something as simple as moisturizer can go a long way. Okay, there I use Cetaphil. You can get that from your local drugstore. It's weightless, it is oil free, it will moisturize your skin, and it doesn't leave like a cakey feeling or anything. I also use a Mary Kay product. It just really depends on your skin, and you have to try out different types, but don't skimp on the moisturizer, and Vaseline is not a good one. But that concludes the first video for the mini series, Makeup for the Brown Girl. And I just want everybody to know that I appreciate you and thank you for watching me run my mouth. And if you have any questions, leave them right here, or email me. I will respond, and I will love to hear from you guys. So thank you again for watching. Stay tuned for the next part in this mini series, which will be the foundation aspect. And I hope everything is I hope everything works out. Take care. Bye.